All right, welcome in. Hanna Time, Thursday night football going on like we always do here at JJ's Grub Shack here in East Mesa, Arizona. Great show lined up for you. We're going to talk a lot of football. We're definitely going to talk about Aaron Judge off the top, about everything that's going on in that Barry Bonds comparison stuff. And it's really starting to stir up a lot more around the baseball world. As Aaron Judge hit 61 last night, a chance for 62 tomorrow night or the remaining games of the season. Let's see what happens with that. But a lot of football talk. I have John Turner coming on from a football world. Then I got Mancini coming on with a Hanna Mancini version at 7:15. Got 2 hours of Hanna Time. All right, let's talk about this right now, folks. I will say this to you over and over again. I'll give you 30 seconds to kind of warm up, get your thoughts about your football team, your Cardinals, baseball, the Aaron Judge story itself, folks. You let me know. You got 30 seconds to think about it, starting now. All right, welcome in to Hanna Time here on a Thursday night. Football going on. Bengals, Dolphins. Dolphins undefeated 3-0. The Bengals 1-2, trying to really get their season straightened out, evening up their record. They're leading the Dolphins 7-3 on a Thursday night in Cincinnati. For Hanna Time, the show, Cornelius Brad Hanna, your host. We're going to be talking a lot here on this sports talk show podcast. First and foremost, NFL Week 4, the picks, the storylines, the narratives going into this game and going into week 4 of the NFL season itself. And also about your Arizona Cardinals here locally in Arizona. And is the bird's nest on fire? Carl Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, are they going at it? Is there any butting heads here? I'm starting to feel and see things that are starting to make sense. I want to talk about it, and I want your opinions on it. Okay. And is DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals' real MVP? Got some numbers for you, and it is what it is. He hasn't been playing, right? And even last year when he got hurt. Also, we're going to talk about Aaron Judge, 61 last night. Great moment for baseball. Probably what baseball really needs itself. A real legitimate legend guy who does break records without using the PEDs, right? But 62 is another one. If he breaks Maris and surpasses Roger Maris, then there's this big debate. Who is the legitimate single-season home run king? Aaron Judge, Barry Bonds. And I'm telling you, a lot of people are not accepting the Barry Bonds 73 home runs. Not even that. The Hank Aaron record that he broke. We'll go back and forth on that, but I want to break it down. I want to celebrate what happened last night also with Aaron Judge, and tomorrow night against the Baltimore Orioles, he has a chance at Yankee Stadium to surpass it and get 62, and then it's all going to start, like what I just said, that debate, right? It's a big debate, though, folks, because you got to think about it, all right? Before we get into that, folks, I want to throw out there a new clothing line here on Global Sports Broadcasting Network. Hanna Time, this is something I've been saying forever, and I want to throw it to you right now. It's this kind of a shirt. I've always said this. This has been my line slogan for, my gosh, over a decade. Love always wins. And I want you to get out there. If you want to buy it itself, I have proceeds going to shelter here in Arizona itself, but also something for you to wear and promote love, that it always wins. You can go and get it. Look online at the post itself. It shows you where to go, and easy access to pay online, and even go to the Global Sports Broadcasting Network.com in the merchandise section too, right? Also, I got another shirt for you. This is my favorite. I'm a Jesus guy, right? This is something that I love. Jesus energy, right? I always talk about energy, and I've always expressed it on the show itself. The way to use your energy, love, Jesus, the whole bit. If you want to check it out more, please do. All right, let's get into it now. Let's talk about this dude right here. I got to love this guy. 99 Aaron Judge hits the 61, and 61 years ago, it was Roger Maris who hit the 61 home runs. I broke Babe Ruth's record, and he wore number 9, Roger Maris. So is there any ironic thing going on here? Yeah. But is it kind of cool? Yeah. And last night we saw a lot with the home run. I have some video for you. I have some video about the Roger Maris Jr., what he spoke about Barry Bonds. I want you to listen to that clearly, what he says, and how a lot of people feel the same way also. And some words from Aaron Judge post-game from Yes Network that we're also going to jump on and listen to Aaron Judge, how he talked about hitting the home run. And why are you going to love this guy even more? Because it wasn't really about Aaron Judge the way he spoke. He's kind of like Derek Jeter, but like another planet, in another way, because Aaron Judge just hit 61 home runs legitimately in a lot of people's eyes. Like the sports world balance on the scale is like this for Aaron Judge. We'll get into that, but there's our guy right there, Aaron Judge. Excited for him, and tomorrow night against the Orioles has a chance this weekend and a few more games next week to surpass 61 and claim 62, which would be amazing itself. All right, so we got that said and down. I'll listen to the video and stuff. I want you to, before I do that, I want to read something to you. Let me do this. Let me read this to you, and then I'm going to bring in the Roger Maris video, okay? People in the media, okay? We're talking baseball here, and we're talking, this is real stuff, folks, okay? Because it's obvious. It's been going, I got a long life in sports like a lot of you do. The media, staff members of MLB, former players not willing to give Judge the credit. Additionally, it's a novelty when it comes to the home run in baseball. It used to be this dramatic moment, right? The way Babe Ruth presented it and did it all the way up through, and then Reggie Jackson's big home runs. It was just iconic stuff, right? It was hard to hit a home run. Greg Nettles led the league in baseball with 28 home runs in the American League back in 1976 or something like that, 77, right? That's incredible, 28 home runs, right? That's how baseball was. But now everybody hits home runs. They're teaching you, and they're bigger. They hit home runs. So it's not like that much of a dramatic, like he hit a home run. All right, the next guy hits a home run. There's a lot of home runs in baseball. So what I just said to you, staff members in Major League Baseball, the novelty of baseball's home run, the media, the people in the media, okay, the former players, all right, maybe current players, are not willing to give Judge credit. Okay. Too many detractors, folks. This is where I'm going to. The reason why is Barry Bonds, everything that Barry Bonds went through and how so many people were down on it and ripping on it. Where are they now? Where are those media people? Where are they not? Why are they not speaking about this? Because they were all over it. They were in Barry Bonds' face night and day. They ripped him apart. But now that Aaron Judge, a New York Yankee of all things, has just tied Roger Maris, the novelty of 61 is still significant. They want to call it the American League home run single season home run king record. But they don't want to call it Major League Baseball but where is the media? Where did it all go? Right? Hypocritical. I mean, there's a lot of hypocritical things going on. Too many detractors and who just don't like the Yankees too, like these media people who don't like them, right? They don't want to write about it. They don't want to go near it. Okay? Staff members of Major League Baseball who are working inside Major League Baseball. Where are those media department? Why aren't they? Why? They denounced and they were not happy about the Barry Bonds stuff, all that investigation thing going on. The Baseball Hall of Fame doesn't even recognize the 73. They have an asterisk of a ball that he hit, 73, in the 4th floor, which is like an attic of all this cool stuff. But nothing, they don't recognize it. They have an asterisk and they talk about why. They're not pleased by it. It's amazing how they still want to claim that it's just American League. Yes, it is going to be an American League. That's fact. But why are they so afraid to go, no, this is the legitimate home run single season king if he does it? Why? It's bothering me because I keep seeing the hypocrisy of the media around the sports world. It's your narrative. You write what you want and you're going to just push what you want. But don't be a hypocrite because you are all over Barry Bonds, all over Barry Bonds. Too many detractors, folks. They have to be perhaps the most misinformed people, too, by the way, who follow sports, because if that's the case, they would be all over this. The fact is, the home run is not, not a novelty anymore, right? It's not. While it may be true, the popularity at the sport is not what it once was. Hitting home runs and has never been it's not that big of a deal anymore, right? It's nice. It's a home run. It scores runs. It was a popularity at one point to hit a home run. It was greater than anything you can do in baseball, right? It was amazing. Not anymore. It resides behind the other sports now. There are other dramatic moments they have, right? It used to be that the home run was the most out of all the sports. That was like it separated themselves from all the sports. But now it's like back to the pack, and this kind of maybe hurts the Aaron Judge, the breaking the record and people being that excited about it. Okay, it was the most popular thing to do is to hit a home run in any sport, the national pastime. Moreover, the problem with the conspiracy theories and all that stuff with the PEDs and proving it. I had people today go, prove it. All right. I mean, do I got to prove what happened to Pujols today, right? Somebody's going to bust this open or not. Major League Baseball doesn't want to touch the Pujols, but I think the guy is juiced right now in his final year. I thought David Ortiz was juiced in his final year. These guys were crippled for 3 years, broken down, injured. They're on the reserve list, right? Or they're on the injury list, right? Did you see Pujols in the last couple of years? The guy couldn't walk, couldn't get on the field. He was a backup. He was a platoon guy. He wasn't even playing the field. Now look at it. He hits his 7th home run, right? All over it. Everybody excited about it. I hope Aaron Judge gets what he deserves when he hits 62, and I hope he does, because I really want this conversation. I really do, and I want it to last forever, and I think the Maris family really does too, because they're not really supporting the Barry Bonds home run too, and rightly so. I understand, because the guy so much against Barry Bonds about all the performance-enhancing drugs itself, the McGuire and the Sosa too. Okay, all right, so there's my take on that. On the Aaron Judge and the Barry Bonds stuff. But I'm going to continue with this, okay? And coming up is John Turner from the football world. But John, hang in there as I get through this part of the show, all right? Now, I'm going to play some video for you, okay? This is Roger Maris's, right? This is Roger Maris's, Roger Maris Jr. after the game, after he tied the record, Aaron Judge, 61, talking about legitimacy, being the legitimate home run king of a single season, Aaron Judge, if or when he hits 62. This is what he said.
I think it means a lot, and that's not just for me. I think it means a lot for a lot of people, that he's clean, he's a Yankee, he plays the game the right way, and, I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who, should be revered for hitting 62 home runs, and not just as a guy who did it in the American League. He should be revered for, being the actual single season home run champ. I mean, that's really who he is if he hits 62, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something.
All right, there's Roger Maris Jr. following the game last night. They wanted to talk to him. The media does, and he puts it out there, and he's going to stir the pot, and he'll continue to do this. The Maris family was there supporting McGuire, and that fell apart. What happened to McGuire and his issues with PED stuff that was all over the map, and then the Barry Bonds thing. The Maris family had enough. Right? Their father went through hell in 1961. He lost his hair, right? They all wanted Mickey Mantle to be the home run single. They wanted Mickey to break Babe Ruth's record at 60. And then it was Mickey and Roger head-to-head going into the last month of baseball. And who was going to break it? And Mickey got hurt. Mickey Mantle got hurt. And it was all Roger Maris. And then people didn't want him. There was death threats because Roger wasn't a true Yankee, right? He wasn't born a Yankee, right? This is how it goes, right, in sports, right? And then the Babe Ruth love was tremendous, and then the Mickey Mantle love, right? So Roger went through a lot. So their family is sitting there going, my dad went through hell to get to 61. He did it in 162 games, right? 1961, right? The cool thing about it is Aaron Judge hit 61 home runs in 154 games. So he outdid Babe Ruth's 60 home runs in 154. That's a fact. That's a pretty good. That's how amazing, incredible Aaron Judge is doing it. Okay. If you really want to look at the historic part of it, Aaron hit 61 home runs, surpassing Babe Ruth in the amount of games. Because a lot of people said, well, Babe didn't play 162 games. He played 154. Aaron Judge hit his 61st in 154th game. Cool stuff, right? So, and Roger Maris, I love what he said. I appreciate it. But a lot of people feel the same way when it comes to baseball itself. We're going to talk football here, but this is one of the top stories of the week in sports, folks. And until the story goes away, we want to hit it hard tonight because it's going to continue. If Aaron breaks the record, it continues. The story will mount, and every time he hits a home run for the rest of the season, it's just going to keep people talking. All right, forever. All right, let's get back to it. Let's talk to Aaron Rodgers. And not talk to him, but this was not Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Judge. A lot of Aarons out there. Aaron Judge, after the game, I want you to hear what he says and how he talks about hitting the home run after the game on the Yes Network.
A team-first guy all the way. You're beloved in that clubhouse because of it. What did it mean to you to have your teammates come out of the dugout and congratulate you on your moment?
That was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting it. You never know what's going to happen, what the guys are going to do, but seeing the love from my teammates, who I, show up to work every single day to, I do what I do for them, and, being able to share that moment with them and, do it up here in a win, it's tough to describe right now.
You acknowledged your mom, Patty. She's been with you the entire way. Just what has her support and your family's support meant to you this season?
Oh, it's been incredible. I'm nothing without my family. They mean the world to me. They're the reason why I'm here. They're the reason why I'm the person that I am. And, getting to share this, moment with my mom and also trying to give a little nod to, Roger Maris Jr. It means a lot that he shows up here too, and looking forward to taking it back home.
As you've chased 61, you've appeared so calm, collected in the batter's box. Were you as calm as you looked?
Yeah, I'm playing a kid's game. I love this. I love these moments, especially a moment like that where it's a 3-3 game. You got a chance to, get a guy in scoring position or drive a guy in. Those are the moments you live for. So I was just trying to soak it in and just go out there and do my job.
Congratulations, Aaron.
Thank you.
All right, there it is, Aaron Judge. If you don't like this guy by now, folks, he did not take the glory of this whole home run thing. He passed it along about his teammates. He was grateful. Hey, this is what baseball players are supposed to be like. This is what professional athletes that we want, right? And there's a lot more out there other than Aaron Judge, but Aaron is in the spotlight, and he handled it well, and I think a lot of people love this guy more for that. And he's the face of baseball right now. He's the story of the baseball season, too. He's the MVP. And great to hear him talk like that. And if you missed it, here's the home run, folks, at a different angle. That's Aaron Judge. The one last look on 61. That will always be in our highlights forever, too. Coming up is John Turner. We're going to talk football here in a little bit, too. But, folks, I do want to make sure that you get in tune about the baseball playoffs. We'll start the wild card series. I guess the first round of baseball starts after the regular season. So sometimes towards next weekend, you'll start to see game 1 and game 2. There are 2 teams in baseball from the American League and 2 teams from the National League that get a first round bye. Okay, that's never happened before. So it's huge. Teams that earn the right with the greater records get to rest up, build up, gives them the advantage, but they deserved it. They played 162 games to get to this point, and I think it's one of the better moves that baseball did. Okay, so they'll get like a week off, rest their staff, pitching staff, get their bullpen lined up, and let the other teams beat each other up. The other first round series games are basically a 3-game series, and you have to win 2. So there's going to be at least 2 games. If they ever go 3 games, then their bullpen is going to be a mess a little bit. They got to get everything organized. They're starting rotation for if they advance themselves to the next round. Okay, so love it. If you're a wild card team and you're going to get through and win a World Series, you're really going to earn it this time. You really are going to earn it this time. All right, so we got all that taken care of. We got a lot of baseball that we just talked about with the Aaron Judge situation. I want to show you one more thing. Look at this. Look at this photograph. This guy is in Yankee Stadium last week. He's probably going to be there tomorrow night. He brought a hockey glove, like the goalie glove, to catch the home run ball. Well, hopefully, let's see. But last night, if you saw last night how the guys in Toronto missed the ball by like inches of making like $1 million. It's like, so this guy's going to probably bring his goalie glove to the game, or someone is going to bring it. It'll be a wild scene Friday night. Orioles are a good team, man. They're not going to go quietly. They got to win a game. They got to stay alive. So it'll be fun to watch. And if you're thinking about Mark McGwire and you're thinking about catching the home run ball and the value of it, check this storyline out. Okay. And this is a wild story. Okay. This is Mark McGwire, home run ball when he first broke the Maris record. Now we know that he was under the influence. So the guy catches the ball. Okay. He catches the ball, 1998, okay? And he goes up, and he wanted to give it to McGwire, and he waited. McGwire didn't want to see him. McGwire never wanted to come out from what they say. He never even bothered. He said no from what the quote says on the screen. So the guy said, fine. Turned it around, and guess what he made? He made a couple of $1 million on it, right? Good for him. This is why you keep the ball. This is why you keep the ball. No, don't be like, oh, it's nice, and nobody's ever going to remember you. Right? Take the money, right? And if you're Aaron Judge, you're going to make gazillion dollars next year, right? Gazillion. Just go ahead and make the money and then pay the guy for the ball. That's all. That's all I got to say there. All right, let's talk some comments, and then we're going to bring on John Turner from football world itself. And let's see here. I want to say hi to Jay Lerma. I want to say hi to Stephen Harris. How you doing, guys? Lori Galvin Garcia. Hey, Lori, how are you? And Sammy in the house. Sammy Porsche. John Hale in the house. Who else we got here? Paula in the house. Dino and Cheryl in the house. All right, let's start from the bottom up. I'm going to go with Dino. Dino says home runs are one of the few things about baseball that is exciting, that everybody wants and waits for during a game or watching a game. Sammy says, well, if there are, because Halloween is coming, nobody cares. The media went to the Bad Bunny concert last night, and I'm craving pancakes. She also says, I'm bored and watching the game. Bengals by 10. That's my pick. I think they're up by 1 at this point. John Gill in the house. How you doing, John? Also, Jay Lerma. They say it's que ondes chaparita. Do the chicken dance for the end of the. Oh, okay. I can't do it on the table, but I'll do with the wing. I'll do the wing for you, Sammy. All right. What colors do you have them available in? Oh, hey, Jay. Jay, how are you, man? Right now I have the. Let me show you. Jay is curious, and I know John, hang in there, man. This is the shirt. I'm sorry, Jay. This is the shirts that I'm pushing for you guys, and I love it. This is the Love Always Wins. I just have it in the blue color. Love Always Wins. It's just in the blue color, exactly like you see it. And if you're a Jesus lover or you believe in Jesus energy, this is what I have. I have Jesus energy in black with the blue, light blue, powder blue lettering to it also. But those are the 2 colors right now. If you are wanting a different color, then just suggest it, and then I'll have to make a special order for you. So you got to come to me with that. But right now, these are the 2 that you can grab. online there. Go to the merchandise section of globalsportsbroadcastingnetwork.com, or go to the link. It's on the Facebook one. There's a link for you right there about it says Love Always Win t-shirts if you're looking for it. Okay. All right. I hope you appreciate those. I'm going to be wearing mine also. I should have wore it tonight. You guys would have liked it. But all right. Are we ready for football? Is this football time? I think we're ready for football. Let me bring in John Turner real quick. We've got a football game going on right now. Hey, John.
Hey, Brad. How you doing?
Are we there? Are we losing you? We got disconnection?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I got you now. All right. I got you. All right. So real quick about tonight's game. I got a lot of things. I'm going to go through a lot of things with you, okay?
Hold on now. I got a question for you.
Oh, okay.
So do you remember the commercial slogan that Major League Baseball put out, "Chicks dig the long ball"?
Yes, I do.
What year was that?
I'm going to go like 94, 95, 94.
A little later. It was 1999. So I wanted to pull this up for you because you're talking about offense and you're talking about home runs. We're talking about Judge and Pujols, and hitting has been down in baseball. So
yes, it has been.
I figured I'd throw this at you. In 99, they came out with that big push, "Chicks Dig the Long Ball." It had Tom Glavine.
Yes, they did.
And Smoltz was involved, and Heather Locklear. Okay, they even brought Heather Locklear.
I remember that. I remember that. The Heather Locklear. That's right.
Here are 5 of the top 10 home run hitters from the 1999 season. Okay, wait for it. Mark McGwire.
Yes.
Sammy Sosa.
There's 2.
Rockville Palmero.
Wow.
Manny Ramirez.
Wow.
Alex Rodriguez.
Wow. All juiced up.
All bags of juice all day, man. Chicks dig the long ball. Keep it juicing, baby. And look, but wait, there's more. So here's a few more on the next 10. Jeff Bagwell, wasn't he always questionable? I believe he was.
Yeah, Brady Anderson we always questioned.
Well, he's not on the list, though. Juan Gonzalez is on the list. Didn't he get popped?
On the list?
He got popped late, I think. Albert Bell, I don't think he was ever proven to juice, but he sure was a jerk. And I thought there was one more. Piazza, did he retire clean? I can't remember. Mike Piazza.
Nobody's really questioned him. But, as a catcher, a lot of catchers don't hit a lot of home runs, so that's kind of – he was hitting a lot of home runs.
Yeah, so I thought you'd find that funny.
That's very cool.
There's your list, and then a little bit further. I mean, Jose Canseco was at 25. You've got a couple other guys on this list that
Jose is the one that came out. Jose came out and talked about it in his book, and everybody hated him for it. And when Aaron Judge hits 61 home runs, I think the next guy is like 41 or something, like 20. It's a major separation, and baseball is testing more, and there is that fear factor. Some guys are taking a chance and see if they can get by, and they lie or they try to act innocent when they get caught. But overall, hitting is down. The league average is a 230 average, which is disgusting. So if you bat 250, if you have like a lot of 250 hitters in baseball, you're going to do pretty good. So, and Aaron Judge is trying to win a Triple Crown. I think he's batting 314, and he's currently the Triple Crown winner if he ever finishes it. But 314, there's another number. Like, wasn't it like 330, 340, Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew?
Tony Gwynn hit under 314 once in his career, and that was his rookie season. He hit 297 as a rookie, and that was as lowest as he ever sniffed at the plate. All right. Here's the deal, real quick, and I'll let you go. We'll talk about football. My Nats just pulled within 2 games of the Oakland A's for dead last, second to dead last in the leagues, and they did it with the runner on base to start that extra inning. Okay,
wow,
that was the RBI they knocked in the 10th. So hooray for my Nats. We're almost second to dead last before we close out this season. The league's going to try to keep that runner, and then they're going to ban the shift and make you have 2 feet in the dirt. They're doing everything. They want to move the mound back a little bit, maybe.
I hope not. I don't think it's about the mound. I think it's about the position players, and teams don't play small ball because, as you said it, since 1999, it was all about the long ball, and then metrics came in, and it was like swing for the fences. Don't worry about striking out because if you connect, it's more productive that way. But the game is deteriorated because of it, because the game has been played between the lines, the bunt, the hit and runs, the steals, right? All that mattered, and the shift kind of screwed up. So now baseball teams around Major League Baseball, minor league systems are going to redesign their whole entire system because they have to now get back to where. So some teams are actually doing it now, and some of the teams that are not doing well are actually building, like the Pirates. You can see the Pirates starting to add some things. Maybe your Nationals are going to do the same thing. It's like you got to build now for the future. So ground ball base hits, right? Through the hole, right? That wasn't happening a whole lot in baseball. Now it comes back.
The Braves just clinched the playoffs, and they have 7 games to play. They have not laid one sacrifice bunt the entire season. Not one. It's never been done. No team has ever gone an entire season. They just clinched a playoff spot. They've got 7 games to go. If they don't bunt, they'll be the first team to ever do it.
That's incredible, man. Let's think about that. If they get into the playoffs in this situation, right? Do they? I mean, but that's the National League team also. It's amazing how things have changed. All your National Leaguers, I understand, the DH stuff, you hated it or something. This is like the purity of the game. But look. You just had a great stat. All right. It's still 7-6. Bengals over the undefeated Dolphins. It was 1972, 50 years ago, that the Dolphins were undefeated season, Super Bowl champs, the only perfect season. Right now, they're perfect at 3-0, and it's nice at least to talk about it, right? But I wonder what like Mercury Morris is doing. Does he pop the champagne when the Dolphins lose? Because that's what he does. Like, when the teams go down and undefeated seasons are over, he popped it when the Cardinals lost last year, right? Like, what about it's the Dolphins though?
Well, I looked at it. Here's another stat for you. So there's only 2 3-0 teams left, and there's only 2 teams that have not yet won a game. And if the Miami Dolphins lose this week, along with if Jaguars beat the Eagles, and both the Houston Texans and the Raiders win this weekend, it'll be the first time ever that after week 4, there have been no more winless or undefeated teams in the NFL.
That's amazing.
We could have history this week.
It's very true. Wow. And it's a little wild because there are teams that can go 3-1 this weekend that you never think or thought of that would go 3-1. Even the Dolphins, if they lose tonight, they're 3-1. They go 4-0. It's like, really, who thought of 4-0? Dolphins, right? But they made some good moves. They got a lot of offensive weapons, and their defense they picked up some players on defense that people didn't realize, 1-year contract guys that were veterans and good players. So, that's how it is. And, Miami hasn't had a good feel of football for a long time down there. And I've been to a lot of Dolphin games when I lived down there for a few years covering the Dolphins, and they got to get that magic back. The football is needed down in Miami. It really, really, really is. All right, I want to talk about the Cardinals, and I want you to chime in on it a little bit. We got so much football going to the top of the hour, okay? All right, so the Cardinals got to go to Carolina, okay? And both teams are 1-2. So a 1-3 record is like, you don't want to go 1-3, right? That's the nightmare. That's a hole, right? The Panthers, McCaffrey is injured again. Something like a quad muscle thingy going on. We don't even know if he's going to play. That's a big break for the Cardinals, right? Looks like the Bengals have scored. All right. So the Panthers lead the series 12-4. So they really dominate the Cardinals overall. Whoever thought of that one? Okay, but that's the real fact, folks. The Panthers won the last 4 games now. The last time was last year, 34-10. An embarrassing one 2 years ago. The Panthers beat the Cardinals again. So, like, the Cardinals just don't match up well with the Panthers. And that was a lot of Cam Newton stuff. But does it change? And the Cardinals are not even playing well. When you line up these two teams, the Panthers and the Cardinals, points for and points against, when it comes for the offense, both teams are averaging 21 points a game. Okay. 276 yards total for the Panthers, 353 for the Cardinals. Right, that's a lot of yardage, but the scoring wise, they're not scoring. The Cardinals. That's the biggest problem they have. Red zone offense too. Points against on defense. This is a shocker. All right, the Panthers are doing okay. They're at 20 points. They're giving up a game. That's not bad. That means they're going to be in games with their average, give and take. For the Cardinals, they're giving up 29 points a game, folks. Their defense, it sucks. And is there any hope and promise? Who's going to help? There's no DeAndre Hopkins to save the defense, right? He's going to save the offense, maybe. Okay. When it comes to defensive yardage, 348 for the Panthers, 383, 384 for the Cardinals, giving up on defense itself. When it comes to sacks, J.J. Watt leads the team for the Cardinals, but the guy Brian Burns for the Panthers also has 2, and he had a great game last year against the Cardinals in that game. J.J. Watt aims for his 3rd in a row on the road to get a sack on the road. So that's a good news for the Cardinal fans. As long as he's healthy, this guy will get to the quarterback. Marcus Golden really hasn't had the year so far. Waiting for this, has 7 sacks in his past 6 road games for the Cardinals. That's great news itself. And like I said before, Brian Burns on defense is the name that you want to watch for if you're a Panther fan, obviously, but for a Cardinal fan. Cardinals, if they go 1-3, John, or the Panthers go 1-3, bad news for the Cardinals and the Cardinal fans. You lose to the Panthers, then you got to go against the Eagles, and everybody say, "Oh, the Eagles are just, lucky." Or who do they play? It is what it is, folks. And your Cardinal team is not that good, so you're not playing at that Eagle level. So now what, right? But here's another one. Getting to 2-2 would be a huge success for both these teams. Staying close to 500 and strike big in December is pretty much how it plays out in the NFL, right? Stay close, and then you got to get hot in December and roll, right? The expectation level, this is your question, John, for the Panthers and the Cardinals. What is more shocking and unexpected? The Cardinals 1-3 or the Panthers going 1-3 if one of those teams end up losing?
Well, I think with the new contract and the removal of the study the film clause, I think more people would have expected an earlier hot start from Arizona. I think people would have kind of predicted a more of a gradual start for Carolina, just getting Baker Mayfield in the door and not the greatest roster already as it is. Right. So I think the right now Arizona is would be considered, if they lose, a more disappointing potential 1-3 team. I got a number for you, another stat for you. If you remove Trace McSorley and Kyler Murray's rushing stats from the Arizona Cardinals offense, they are 29th in the NFL in rushing, averaging just under 3.8 a carry. So one of those key stats that kind of make your defense look a little better sometimes is that extra or second extra first down. And usually you get those by having a slightly better running game. And I think if they can get that going, they'll hold the ball a little bit longer, keep their defense on the bench a little longer, and give up less points in the process. It's just a math problem, if you ask me.
And a lot of the fans are yelling, "Run, Kyler, run!" That's pretty much how the Cardinals were able to succeed last year a lot. And under Kyler Murray is him taking off, but they're trying to. He's not running. He's not taking off, and he needs to take off in crucial downs and late times in the game, and maybe he's trying to preserve his body a little bit because it was getting banged up the last 2 seasons, but when you talk about the yards, you're right. That's a huge number there. When your quarterbacks are getting, a lot of that run, and that number does drop. Under 4 is not good when you're running the football. It's not good. You can't get a first down running the ball 3 times. You'll fall short by couple of inches or an inch, right? So, all right, something else I want you to talk about. This is serious. I want every Cardinal fan to hear this, okay? And I've been marinating this for the last month or so. Murray versus Kingsbury, the head coach. Are they seeing eye to eye? Are they actually eye to eye on the game plan? Is Kyler, this is another one. Does Kyler want more control of the offense? Can Murray run an offense? Can Kingsbury run an offense, right? Will there be more friction between coach and player if they lose? The reason why I'm bringing this is a lot of like, come on, you're assuming. No, folks, if you're watching the game on the field and you're at the game or whatever it is, there is some play calling that it just doesn't match up to what Kingsbury is doing. And then you can see the conversations on the sideline. Murray doesn't want to talk to his coach. He walks away from there. I'm seeing this more. And Murray, with his video game desires, loves to play that Madden game, which means he wants to be really wants to call his play. That has to have that. That's his DNA, man. So I got to put this all in there. And if Kyler Murray, just put this in your head, believes in his mind that he can call a game a little bit better than his coach, or doesn't always agree with it, there's some friction, there's some headbutting there. Okay. At one point, does something break between the quarterback and his coach? The love affair coming in together like this, they all got their money, but now the pressure is on. And does Murray play to the system that his coach wants him to, or does he have, because, hey, he got paid, he's going to be here longer, right? Kingsbury could go. They can get rid of him. So Kyler may feel, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. Let me take this. This is a real possibility. There is ego involved. And I don't know if Kyler is able to follow his coach long enough if the team continues to lose, right? And I wonder if some of the plays that Kyler may have called. I did see one play on Sunday, and I saw it, and he called a deep pass. And I remember him going over to Marquise Brown, Mr. Hollywood, before they went onto the field, and I saw it. And they were talking. 2 plays later, I'm going, they must have talked about something here. They said Kyler was already, and that's okay for a quarterback. That's not bad. It's okay because quarterbacks are engaging in the game. But then I went, all right, how often is this happening now? And was it okay with his coach? Right? It was an incomplete pass. It was overthrown, actually. So, all right. I threw a lot out there to Cardinal fans. John, what is your thoughts on this?
He dropped back 58 times. All right. I mean, you mentioned Hopkins a little while ago. I mean, he threw the ball at Hollywood Brown 17 times Sunday. They end up with 12 points. He connects, 34 completions or something crazy. I mean, these are not doghouse numbers. He threw for over 300 yards. I just think they're having problems mixing it up. Maybe the number one read on certain plays is not the number one read that he would like to go to, like the play design guy,
right.
Where Kingsbury is asking him to look first. Maybe he wants to look at somebody else first, and that might explain that conversation that you're happening. Maybe he did something off design and they said, oh, we were so close. Let's just tweak it a little bit. Next time we'll get it right. And I don't know that that's necessarily sky is falling territory. I think that Murray is 25 and Kingsbury is 43, which is still pretty young as far as an NFL head coach is concerned. And even though there is an 18-year gap between them, this is still 2 relatively young guys. I mean, I'm 43. I still like to think that I'm a relatively young guy. So, I think that sometimes 2 young guys, especially one of them in an authoritative position, and the other guy that's worth $300 million says, what the hell are you talking about, dude? You're old and senile now by NFL standards. And Kingsbury's like, no, I played in this offense. I've coached this offense. I've had success in this offense. This can work, And I just think they got to kind of, sorry for the pun, meet at the 50-yard line.
You know, I during the preseason, Kyler was calling fourth quarter plays. That was ever since they got away from that 4-hour tutoring, you know, study hall, in his contract. Then they squashed it, but then Kyler was on the sidelines calling plays in the fourth quarter, and you're thinking like, all right, maybe they're trying to get him more engaged, get him thinking about the game. They're trying to find a way to, give him more opportunities to call his own plays. So which means maybe he has to pay attention more to his week-long preparation, right? And watching game film the way they want him to. But we can't forget that. But I do remember during preseason was the Raven game, and I watched Kyler. I can hear him, John. I was that close, okay? And he wants to go long. He tried a couple of times, and then one time was incomplete. And he was like, "Oh man, we had it, man." It's like he's having fun with it, but he wants to throw long. And the problem that I'm also seeing with the Cardinals is nobody cares. They're not worried about it. With DeAndre Hopkins not in that lineup, there's no deep threat really. Marquise Brown is supposed to be, but they're not using it. And here's the other thing: if they are trying, they got a deep safety. They're playing something soft back there where that safety is looking for that deep pattern, and he's going to it. And Kyler is not checking off that deep flight and looking down, checking down. So what I'm getting to is they're taking away over 20 yards. These defenses, they've been doing it since last year. I think they've been doing it for a while, right? But DeAndre Hopkins, and this is the other question I have for you, Cardinal fans. Is he the MVP? Because if you remember, he got hurt last year, and the Cardinals fell apart when they didn't have him in the lineup. Their offense just went, and now he's gone for 6 games because of this suspension, and they still can't win. They don't have a winning record. They have a winning record when he's on the field. They have a losing record when he's not on the field. Guy's valuable. Until we see him on the field, we won't see the Cardinals offense really getting that much creative and better because they're limited. They're limited, and everybody's playing up close to the line of scrimmage. They got 8 guys. They got the deep safety, and the Cardinals are trying to look downfield, and Murray doesn't see it. He doesn't have time to see it, or he doesn't see it, so he checks down, or he runs out of the pocket. And the Cardinals offense is limited, and that's where the Kingsbury coach strategy stuff, everything he brought in is, all right, you're not that creative, and you can't blame on that we don't have enough talent. You got Marquise Brown there. You're supposed to stretch the field no matter who's on that field, and it's not happening. And you watch Marquise Brown. That's what he did a lot. So I threw a lot out there for you, John. What do you have? How do you respond to that?
Well, when they traded for Ertz, okay, Ertz is a lot more valuable with DeAndre Hopkins on the field. All right, so Ertz gets you between the seams and really kind of, like you said, brings those high safeties in a little bit because right. Ertz is a guy that will chew you apart across the middle of the intermediate part of the field. And then Hopkins is taking everything from, 8 to 15 yards. He's almost the best player in the league in that, particular area of the field. And then you're right. Hollywood's supposed to be, chicks dig the long ball. What he wanted to throw more of, the deep big bombs. And until he gets back, what do we have? 3 more weeks until he's going to come back?
It's a 6-game suspension. So,
Yeah, 3 more weeks here. So, I mean, they're going to have to just figure out how to win without him. And here's another factor. How much was his name Kirk? Didn't you guys lose somebody to Jacksonville also?
Yeah, Christian Kirk. And he's having a great year. He's having a great year with
He's having a great year. So how
Lawrence,
much are they missing him right now? Is Hollywood everything they needed from Christian Kirk, or could they use a Christian Kirk right about now? It's hard to tell.
We have to watch that closely because that's the trade-off. But Christian got paid. Hollywood got traded for, and I'm going to watch how this plays out with Marquise Brown because if this all falls apart, you just traded away a first-round draft pick, remember, to the Ravens, and the Ravens got a good guy out of it. They got a nice pick out of it. And then, did they trade it to the Jets? The Jets jumped in and got a nice defensive end out of Florida State, okay? What I'm getting to, there was a lot of talent at that spot when the Cardinals didn't have to trade for Marquise Brown if they didn't want to, okay? But they jumped the gun. They did it. If this guy is just what he did in Baltimore and he has his fair share of plays, was it worth it? Was it worth a first-round trade-off? That's the point, because Christian Kirk got paid, and right now Christian Kirk is having a better season than any Cardinal wide receiver right now. Right now.
How many home run hitter wide receivers? And when I say that, I mean these little skinny guys that can just burn up the field and and catch a handful of 50-yard plus touchdowns a year. How many of these guys? Let's see, Peerless Price. You're looking at the guy Deshaun Jackson, who's a guy that's been traded for like 5 first-rounders now. Brandon Cooks. Okay, he's been traded like 10 times in his career. All of these guys, they're burners. All right, they turn on the Jets, and this goes back to like Rocket Ismail. They're like one-trick pony guys.
Exactly.
A dozen times a year, and then they just kind of disappear on you. I cannot give a yes to that. Is it worth a first rounder? But I'm not paid to make these kind of decisions. Thank God. I'd have been fired a long time ago.
Yeah, they jumped the gun. D-Hop got his suspension and stuff, and I think they knew that was going down. But it hasn't done anything. And if they lose this game, man, this is going to be ugly. They're going to be 1-3. I anticipated 1-3. I was, if that happens, if they can find a way to beat Carolina, who I think is got a really good defense. If McCaffrey doesn't play, that does hurt. And Baker Mayfield has not looked good. But their defense is pretty tough, and they're at home. So the Cardinals they got to show their offense, and their offense is not producing the way their defense stinks in Arizona. They got a nice secondary, but that secondary can't play the front line. They can't play linebacker, right? And it's too bad because that secondary could be tremendous if they had a nice pass rush. J.J. Watt is getting – I'm going to show you a photograph. What the Rams were doing to J.J. Watt. Because they knew J.J. was the only guy, right?
Need to get Bertrand Berry back in there.
Look at J.J. Watt. Look at this photograph. Lower screen. He's only red in the whole shot, right? So he gets chipped by a wide receiver in the slot, and then you have the tackle. Just wait. Like this is what the Cardinals defensive line is getting. JJ's their best guy. They got no help on the other end. Marcus Golden has yet to play at his high level, and he got paid. And if Marcus doesn't step it up, this is what's going to continue. They need support and help on the bookends to come in. And JJ is going to keep getting shots like that from receivers and whoever, running backs, things like that coming out of the backfield. But this is a great shot. And this is what happened to J.J. Watt during that game. He got that one sack in the first series or something like that. And then, he had a great game, J.J., but it wasn't like he was wrecking it. But when you don't have a good linebacking crew, it's average at best. Your middle interior defensive linemen are not good. They're getting blown up on the run game. It don't matter. Your secondary. So you traded for more offense when you didn't have a problem scoring points last year. Yeah, defense. This is my philosophy about the Cardinals, that they don't want to listen to me. But man, I don't have to get paid that much, like Steve Kimes get. Jeez. But I got a lot of fans and listeners. I want to listen what do they say here. Check this out here. All right. I got Sammy. She's a diehard Cardinal fan. She's freaking out. Let's see here. They can't tackle Cardinals. I was talking about the photo. Yeah, I mean, linemen get blindsided, defensive linemen, because they got to move. They don't know what's coming. And you're right. I mean, I'm not looking at him getting knocked on his butt. I'm looking at the fact that the teams are going to chip, hit, and then he's going to get hit again by an offensive lineman, and who knows? So they're just going to take away your best threat as a pass rusher, which is J.J. Watt. But yeah, not a good look. Let me get that off the screen, by the way. They hit reminded me when Larry hit Sherman. Good point. All right, one side, Karen and Ron. We don't have a mix-up of positions. We should just get stuck to one player and most of the time. I get you. Kathy saying hi. Nope, is getting fed up with those lame-ass plays, and we need an OC because obviously Kime and Michael Bidwell are in love with Queensbury. I like that one. Dreana, how you doing? Kathy saying hi again. Coach John Wren, legendary high school coach. How you doing, bud? Mariana Shaban, she's happy. She's a Ram fan. She's back in control. All right, there we go. I got a few people I threw out there. All right. I got to throw this photograph in. This is a look that we may see a lot, right? We don't want to go back to a few years ago with Coach Wilkes as the coach of the Arizona Cardinals, but this is where it may get. A lot of these looks on the sidelines, folks, for the Cardinals. And, you haven't done well in Carolina. We'll see what happens there. Both teams are desperate. Both these teams need to win. Let's see here. All right. J.J. Watt, since we're talking about J.J. Just video. JJ, I took this video. This is my personal video, so nobody can, before the game, having a catch with some fans. He's a big dude. He's engaged. He wants to play ball. Look at, they're all kids too. Love it. We need to see more of this in football. I love it. The guy is massive, John. He's massive. Massive dude. J.J. Watt, we don't know how many years he's got left. He's playing more on third down and special situations, trying to preserve him. I don't think he could be an every down player as his body is, beat down after so many years in the NFL. But, he's got 1 year left on his contract with the Cardinals this season. I mean, this is it. And if he doesn't like what he sees, where does JJ go? I mean, he wants that ring. He definitely wants the ring. And I don't know if Arizona is really that close anymore.
I don't know, but I like the Bill Belichickian dress code, the sleeveless hoodie right there. I mean, that's right out of Annapolis, Maryland, right there. No, so you're saying this is the last year on his deal, or he's
playing his last. He's under contract for this season. That's it. He had a 2-year deal. This is the second year, so he's going to be a free agent.
He's going to be a free agent. Well, it's a given then that he ends up in your division rival, the Rams, because they figure out how to afford everybody under their salary cap. And he plays right next to Aaron Donald. And then they try to win one more and they won't.
Wow.
But they'll spend a lot of money failing. And you'll love that. So if he can't walk off into the sunset, I imagine he would go to somebody who thinks they're really close, and then he'll say all the same right things that he said when he came to Arizona. Oh my God, I love it here. The tradition. Oh, look at the Pat Tillman locker. It's fantastic. He'll just say something about Eric Dickerson's glasses and goggles or whatever, and go from there. And legendary this and that, and then they'll go 9-8.
All right, we're at halftime. It's 14-12. Bengals over the Dolphins. Dolphins try to convert on a 2-point conversion. Good game. Very good game. And we're going to talk about underdogs and gambling a little bit as we get through more of this NFL rundown. So the Dolphins can improve to 4-0. They got one more half. This first time since 1995 they can get to 4-0. And Don Shula and Dan Marino did that. The Eagles could advance to 4-0. This weekend, and the first time since 2004 they can do that. when they earned a Super Bowl berth in 2004, but they lost to the Patriots then. What else could happen, though, this weekend? You got to stay tuned, folks. But there's one thing that some headline news leading through week 4. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson among the headliners going up against each other. Okay, these two. This is what the quarterback and the NFL loves, right? They meet Sunday, 2-1 Buffalo against the 2-1 Baltimore Ravens itself. The individuals are only the 2 players in the NFL 103-year history to reach both 9 touchdown passes and 100 yards rushing over the first 3 games of the season. That's pretty incredible, right? It's not all about Lamar Jackson running. Josh Allen does make it happen too. Joining Dante Culpepper and Dak Prescott, who also did that in their first few games of the season itself. Number of the week is 100. The NFL week this week marks a significant milestone of the 100th game played outside of the United States. Is that crazy? 100 games? Like, it's got to be exhibition stuff. Maybe like, who knows? But they're going to be playing this one at London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday morning. It's the Vikings and the New Orleans Saints are playing that one. Another note to matter about this weekend for football: 8 teams that missed the 2021 season have started off 2-1. I think we're touching on that a little bit too. 2-1, including the Chicago Bears, who play the New York Giants, who are also 2-1. So something's got to give there. For the second time since the NFL season added the 32-team franchises in 2002, 30 teams have at least one win through the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. It also happened in 2012, 30 of 32. And since the 1970 merger, the league has had 2 winless teams through week 3. Only 5 occasions this has happened: 1988, 1989, 1990, 2012, and now this year, because John Turner's all over it, 2022. Spotlight, the individual matchup spotlight for 4-time Pro Bowl guard Quentin Nelson lines up across fellow first-round draft choice Jeffrey Simmons on Sunday. Colts and Titans. Nelson has a crucial it leads the way with Jonathan Taylor as a running game and so forth. That's what the Colts needed to do as they upset the Chiefs last week. That's a matchup that people don't watch, offense and defensive guys going at each other. Another spotlight matchup, Jaguars playing this weekend, and they're who are they playing this weekend? They're playing the Eagles. Is that true?
Eagles.
Yeah, they're playing the Eagles. They're playing the Colts?
Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Trayvon Walker. Remember him? They got him. He's wrecking it, going up against Josh Allen, and then they visit the Philadelphia Eagles in 3-0, an explosive Eagles offense. Lane Johnson and Jordan Malata, or Malata, like I say, Malata. That's on Sunday itself. Here's some more news about. Oh, bless you, man.
Thank you.
Through 3 games, Jacksonville's defense is tied for the NFL's lead in both takeaways. Think about this. The Jacksonville Jaguars, both takeaways, 8, and interceptions, 6. The Jags had 9 takeaways and 7 interceptions all last season. And on the other side of the ball, Philadelphia has who they're playing leads the NFL with 447 yards on offense. Something's got to give here. This season, the Jaguars, yes, we're still talking about the Jags because they are a story that we're going to get used to, I think. Under Mike Cardwell has allowed the NFL fewest rushing yards on defense at 55. Facing the Eagles.
Miles Jack walk.
Right? Think about this. It's pretty good stuff. Doug Peterson going up against his former team. He's the head coach of the Jags. Another thing to look forward to as he returns to a city where he won the Super Bowl, brought the Super Bowl to Philadelphia. Your thoughts on this? I got more in the NFL talk, but your thoughts on what I just mentioned to you, or everything I just mentioned.
I think all them high first-round picks for the Jaguars are starting to pile up and really come to fruition. They had ETN lost all last year, and now he's back with his dorm mate Fabio, Trevor Lawrence. So that's a plus. Their one-man wrecking crew defensive end is playing fine football. That other linebacker, Josh something, the linebacker that they got there in Jacksonville. Just tremendous football player. They've got a great secondary that's playing well. And you're right. Peterson is going up against not only his old team, but Sirianni is a protege of his that came from Frank Reich, who was a protege of his as well. So this is a guy that's going up against the team that he used to coach, against the system that's being used by the system that came from him. So
you're absolutely right.
So I think if I were to give the advantage, I'd say Jacksonville has it. And oh boy, both of these teams are putting up ridiculous numbers right now on offense. But the Jaguars, if you'd told me 2 years ago the Jaguars by week 3 would have 2 blowouts in a row, to start the season, I'd say get the hell out of here. Go give this guy a urine test. But here they are playing very, very fine football, looking like the best team in that division.
We're going to jump over to the Kansas City Chiefs, who got off to a great start and lost their game, which was an upset to the Colts, right? But did you know out of 77 starts, Patrick Mahomes only 2 times, 75 out of 77 career starts, the only 2 starts he has not thrown a touchdown pass in a game, which is incredible. 2021 in October against the Tennessee Titans, and then in Super Bowl when they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only time, 2 times he's never thrown a touchdown pass in a game. And that's kind of what the NFL is about now anyway. So you should be putting up some crazy number. That's pretty impressive at a high end, but this is what you if you're a quarterback in the NFL, the way the rules are set up for you and everything else, you better throw a pass. For a touchdown pass, I should say, because if you don't, then you suck, or something sucks there, because it should not happen. You should be always throwing a touchdown pass. The way the league is, the way it's playing out right now. Your thoughts on Mahomes and what I just said? Yeah.
All right, so I like Mahomes. I think he's all universe, all pro universe, or whatever category he should be in. The funny thing about this game coming into it is that the Tampa Bay Bucks aren't doing what they're supposed to do this year. We haven't seen Tom Brady in a shootout yet. And you mentioned this stat with Mahomes. They're coming off a loss. They're going into a city that's been ravaged, by Hurricane Ian. Who knows how many fans they're going to have there, or if they're cardless, pay for your beer things are even going to work in the stadium. But Tampa Bay, they're playing weird football right now. And as high octane as the Kansas City Chiefs offense can be, I've got a sneaky suspicion this is going to be one of them take the under deals, and whoever gets that ball last, you know what I mean? It could end on a boot, some 18-16 bonkers Vegas buster.
Wow. Under the radar when you're talking about the storylines for this week coming up, remember this, Barry Switzer is a Barry Switzer center, the Oklahoma Sooners, right? And they have 4 quarterbacks starting in the NFL, right? Do we know who they are? We know 2 of them playing against each other, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, right? Jalen Hurts is the other one. Can we name the fourth one?
The 4th Oklahoma quarterback that's going to start this week?
Or at least in the NFL as a quarterback. Never mind.
The 4th Oklahoma this week quarterback that's going to start a football game. Oh God! All right, I give up.
I can't give it up yet. I want to wait for somebody to say it. It's a trick question, by the way. That's all. But anyway, let me talk about this. All right, 2 quarterbacks, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Okay, going head to head. Okay. December 2015, Murray transferred to OU, right? Baker transferred, right? I mean, each guy had 1 season as an OU quarterback, right? And both of them are kind of falling backwards, like ironically too. It's just, I don't think Kyler is at his high game. I think he's regressed, if anything. Okay, but Jalen Hurts, who came out of Bama, right, and got some good tutelage there, and got over to Oklahoma because of the situation that went on in Bama, quarterback situation. And he had a great run at Oklahoma, and he looks like the bright spot of this Oklahoma tandem of quarterbacks coming out. It's quarterback you. That's how everybody was talking about. But we need to take a step back. It's not going as well, right? It's not going as well as these quarterbacks going head to head in Carolina, Baker and Murray itself, almost ideally the same path, right? Almost ideal, the same path they're taking in their careers, entering. No other college has produced more NFL starters right now as quarterback than the Oklahoma Sooners, which has never been known for that itself. I got numbers here on Hurts, Murray, and I don't know if I really have to go into it all, but Jalen Hurts is actually having a better year, and it looks like more on the trending up with his team, while the Cardinals and the Panthers are just they're swimming in sharks right now. Your thoughts on Oklahoma? Is it really the quarterback you?
Well, not anymore because their quarterback producer coach just hightailed to USC and took his quarterback, Caleb Williams, with him. Caleb Williams from Washington, D.C., by the way.
Right.
So, and by the way, Barry Switzer never used quarterbacks. He ran the football. Let's get one thing straight. There's a wishbone guy. But anyway, we're going to have to see who they got. The defensive coordinator from Clemson now, right? That's their guy.
Right. Yep.
So obviously he's going to attract every fat boy that plays on the front seven onto the team. Time is going to tell. Usually they're solid at getting big offensive linemen. That's got to be attractive if you're a 4 or a 5-star quarterback recruit. Their problem is that they're moving to the SEC, who quarterbacks are going to have to go up against bigger defenders than they would anywhere else in college football. You're looking at tougher competition in the SEC than you are elsewhere. And that's why they make up 2 or 3 playoff spots every year. So thank God they're moving to 12 teams. Otherwise, it'll be Georgia and Alabama until the end of time.
All right. Green Bay hosting the Patriots in the afternoon game. It's Green Bay looking to go 15 consecutive regular seasons home wins, okay, as a host New England, I should say. And since 2000, only 3 franchises, New England 4 times, Baltimore, and St. Louis Rams, have strung together home winning streaks that long. So the Packers' home field advantage in the regular season, not in the playoffs, because we know they don't win in the playoffs at home, at least in recent time, right? This week in the NFL history, on September 30th, 2007, Giants match a single season record of 12 sacks, the most by NFL team since 1985. I would think that number would be possible as we're seeing more, passing as in the NFL. You think quarterbacks will be sacked more, right? You get more opportunities. So I'm not surprised. But this was back in 2007, and we're in 2022, and we have like 6 games or 6 sacks in a game, maybe 7 in a game, but never 12. That's pretty amazing, actually, when you think about it. And
Carson Wentz was sacked 9 times last week.
Who got 9?
Carson Wentz was sacked 9 times last week.
All right, I didn't know that, and that's pretty significant. that's a beatdown, actually.
That's a drubbing.
Hey, as I'm reading this to you, this next one, look up how many times Burrow has been sacked tonight. I'm just curious. I haven't been able to look it up because he's been beaten down too. And last but not least, the Rams are visiting the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football. These teams have combined to represent the NFC 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. The teams split a pair of significant games last year and also playing in the playoffs. The NFC Championship game, that was an awesome game to watch. This is week 4, though, the NFL. And a rematch. This is what the NFL wants. They want the big rematch. The big name teams and the big show. The big show they want, right? A Super Bowl rematch also in Kansas City when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tampa itself are going at it. And we got another rematch in London. The Vikings at New Orleans, but this was the Minneapolis Miracle of the 2017 NFC Championship playoff or NFC divisional playoff game. Gosh, going too fast there. All right. Did you see how many times he's been sacked so far?
I'll say 23.
No, I mean in this game right now. So I know he
Oh,
got. I think he got sacked like 6-7 times by Pittsburgh.
Oh, you wanted to know how many times Burrow has
Yeah,
been sacked tonight?
tonight. Yeah,
Oh,
tonight. And
I'll tell you that. Only once. Once for
okay,
8
that's not
yards.
too bad. I don't know if Miami has a pass rush. I thought they had a little bit of a rush.
Hey, I'm not looking at the game, but it looks like Teddy Bridgewater is 6 for 9. What's going on? Did Tua
don't
leave
forget,
the game?
he was hurt. Tua was hurt. Remember that.
He had a concussion protocol. They dragged him out of there like Bernie Lomax.
Yeah. So
And,
I like Teddy Bridgewater, and this may be, that relief pitcher or somebody. Remember Don Strock for the Dolphins, and if like they would bring him in like a relief pitcher, and then like it's screwed up the defenses. Everybody's game planning for the starter and that system, and then here comes your relief pitcher. Well, that was ironically the Dolphins and Don Strock, and who was the David Woodley? I think it was David Woodley, the other quarterback. All right. So speaking of the Niners, as I was dropping in on that, Jimmy G admits he's not in game shape, has yet to get on the same page with his offense, and he says it's my first week with these guys, and it's true. I mean, they basically put him on the back burner. He had to jump into the game on an injury, and he did pretty good, right? But he made an excuse in his second game as a starter. He didn't start the first one because he came in. Is this a poor excuse for Jimmy G?
I tell you, if I'm only getting paid, like, if I had to take a pay cut of $5-6 million before the season started, there's no way you could motivate me to do push-ups and sit-ups and warm up, and study the playbook. My God, I mean, you can throw all that right out of my contract. You asked me to take a pay cut? Oh, wow.
Heck no.
You went with that North Dakota State kid, and now he's done. Here's the deal, man. I saw also early this week that the trade was done with Washington to send him to Washington for whatever that Washington was going to give up.
Right.
But that shoulder surgery, Washington backed out of the deal because they said, all right, well, he's going to clean this up in his shoulder and he'll be good to go. Don't worry about it. And Washington said, oh, the hell with that. So I don't know. The whole offseason, they were trying to get rid of him while telling us, no, we want to keep him.
Right.
And then they made him take a pay cut so they'd make him easier tradable, and they still didn't get it done. Now they're stuck with the guy. This is the weirdest thing in San Francisco. But good luck to them. I think they're going to get boat raced by about 40 points.
All right. I know Mancini just popped on. I'm going to keep you on a little bit, John, because it's kind of fun, and I know Mancini loves it. We usually do this Hanna Mancini version of the show, and when he pops on, and the guy's so busy. Mancini, where are you, buddy? How are you?
I was covering the Cardinals and the Dodgers, and now the damn foul ball has been an obsession. I missed it by 5 chairs this time. Son of a gun! I can't. The hardest things now, or the easiest things in baseball now, have become the hardest.
All right, Mark, we're rolling around.
John Turner, man, the boat race boy is back.
Where am I going now? Oh, all right. So we just got off the Jimmy G stuff. Now listen to this: the Raiders, right? They're 0-3. Everybody, they had a nice finish of their season. Got a new coach situation. So Raiders owner Mark Davis had a lengthy closed-door meeting with Josh McDaniels, his head coach, after the 0-3 start itself. What can he say to him? This is the product on the field. Is Josh McDaniel all that? Remember, he was supposed to be ready to be a head coach. Is this a mistake that the Raiders made, or is this something else going on here? Because the Raiders are supposed to be ready to go. Like, this was supposed to be their year to get better, right? And that division, the AFC West, right, was supposed to be all that, right? But the Raiders aren't living up to it. So, but what would go on in that meeting, by the way? We can have fun with this.
Well, I don't know what would go on in the meeting, but I always tell people this. We see Stephen A. Smith saying they need to bench Mitch Trubisky and bring in Pickett to take over. I never realized that Super Bowls were won after 3 games. And you've been watching football. John's been watching football. I've been watching football. and we can categorize this in two ways that we usually you see a season shake down after 7-8 games. You don't see it shake down after 3. And I think people are jumping to conclusions on this, but I will tell you this. It's one of those things where you circle the wagons. The Raiders need this win against Denver this week. You don't want to go 0-4.
It's your percentages are like 7% of making the playoffs at 0-3. So 0-4, yeah, I think you're pretty much. I don't think anybody's done it. Actually, I got to look that up.
Well,
I know.
I don't know. They laughed at me, and I said, "Don't be surprised if Jacksonville comes in and beats the Chargers' ass." And they said, "No, that ain't happening, Mancini." Well, don't be surprised if the Jaguars go into Philly and contain that high octane offense.
It's ironic that Trevor Lawrence got 1 year under his belt under a different coach. Now it gets a great coach because we know what Peterson did, with now I'm forgetting the quarterback who won the Super Bowl for the Eagles.
Foles.
Yeah, yes. So and now he's got the right coach and he's taken off. And just like Joe Burrow got destroyed, the Bengals were horrible in his rookie year and everything else. And then the second year they're like in the Super Bowl, right? Is this what's gonna happen in Jacksonville? Like we're just gonna see like is this like new trend? Like I think John, you said it earlier, all their draft picks are starting to, first round picks that they got and the second round picks that they got early are starting to show up, and this is what we talked about. You've got to be able to draft well in those first 2 rounds. If you don't, you're fucked. It's plain simple. You're fucked. And the Cardinals, I can see the Cardinals have not done well with that. That's why they're having their issues. So anyway, you made a good point at 0-3, and the Jaguars in their situation, they can knock off the Eagles. You think they can knock off the Eagles?
I think they can knock off the Eagles. They're playing on house money. Doug Peterson returns to the scene of the crime. When you look at it from a college standpoint, it's Clemson versus Alabama. Lawrence against Hurts and Devontae Smith. You got Edelman on the other side. This is going to get interesting, man. The Civil War has come up to the East Coast now.
Philadelphia.
John, your thoughts on that, John?
Philadelphia minus 6.5. I mean, I know they're at home. That's an awful lot of points. You rattle this guy Hurts, he's going to fold up like, beach furniture, and it's going to be off to the races. Jacksonville's been scoring a lot of points. Yeah, they've been getting to the quarterbacks in Philadelphia, but Trevor Lawrence is not one of these quarterbacks that gets rattled easy. He stays in there, takes his time, and it doesn't look like he gets flustered. I haven't seen him breaking any iPads on the sideline. He's steady Eddie.
I do like Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen's going to be a lot better than people anticipated. He is cool also. Both these guys are cool. In college, they were great, and you can still see that same demeanor, that they're comfortable in the pocket. They're able to move out of the pocket. They got good feet. They got good arms, and they're winning. They're winning, and this is what we were talking about. This is the future quarterbacks. We were watching them the last few years. The winning quarterbacks, right? Trevor won, right? Jalen won, and and Jalen had to do it twice in two different schools. But I'm looking forward to that game, guys. I want to move on to the. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, and let me ask you something. Since we're talking a little of the NFC East. How far in bed are the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, the NFL wants to make the Cowboys so relevant that it just seems like Cooper Rush is going to be. How do the Cowboys go into New York and beat the Giants? I mean, it just that game. If you looked at the calls, I said to myself, unbelievable with their
Giants never beat the Cowboys at home, and the Giants stink at home. They don't play well at home.
Well, did you see some of those pass interference calls on the Giants?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's
I think losing Sterling Shepard might have done something psychological to that offensive play calling, though, to be honest with you. Cooper Rush, the first 3-0 Cowboys quarterback ever.
That's amazing.
Here's another quick stat for you. Your Jaguars have only given up 55 yards per game rushing. And if you take away Jalen Hurts' rushing numbers, that's going to be a key matchup to watch. Front seven of Jacksonville versus who are they going to put out there? Miles Sanders, is he their platoon guy?
According to the Eagles, they sacked Carson Wentz 9 times, but good luck trying to get through that offensive line that the Jaguars have built up.
That's right. They're paying that Brandon Sheriff a lot of money to not give up sacks.
I remember a conversation I had when Trevor was in college, right? And I kept preaching. I said, guys, Trevor Lawrence and guys like Joe Burrow and Mahomes, and Justin, and I thought Jalen would get there too. And I cannot diss on Lamar Jackson because he's doing whatever he can with his ability and finding ways to win and play well. But I said I would take Trevor Lawrence any day over Kyler Murray. This is when Kyler was in his rookie year. Any day. And I got like Cardinal fans hated because they thought I was I said no. And this guy's just going to get better. And I see much more upside than I do with Kyler Murray. I mean, after 4 years of Kyler Murray right now, it's gone backwards, like Baker Mayfield. It's going backwards, right?
Well,
and a good coach. A good coach helps, guys. Kingsbury's not helping his quarterback. He's not growing Kyler Murray, and that's another problem.
Well, the problem is some of these GMs that inherit a lot of money from the owner to buy these quarterbacks or draft these guys. It's kind of like home prices. You're buying a chicken coop and you're not getting nothing with it, but you need the chicken coop. Well, that's the same thing when you look at Kyler Murray and Justin Fields and Trey Lance and all these other guys. I'm looking at guys that are pocket passers that it's hard to bring down. A guy 6'5", 6'3" is hard to bring down. He can see the defenses. Kyler Murray needs a stepladder to see the defense.
Hey, guys, I'm looking up at the screen. And these Dolphins are hanging in there. And they're only down by 2 still, and they're playing on the road. So, we know the Bengals are supposed to be a good team. This is developing its own storyline. Dolphins right now are showing a lot of people on Thursday Night Football. This 3-0 thing is no joke.
Yeah, well, I took the over, so I wish they'd figure it out a little faster.
Yeah,
you took the over, man.
53.5, man. Come on, Miami, get it done. Jeez.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I've seen this play out in Miami for a lot of years. They haven't had a quarterback since Dan Marino, and they always start out like a bat out of hell. Come talk to me in December. Come talk to me in December when you need one win in your last 4 weeks, or you can't win in 30-degree weather.
Yeah.
65-yard bomb.
I think if you look at up the stats, John and Cornelius, the Dolphins must be 2-30 something in the temperature under 30 degrees. So, I'm not going to get excited in September. Come talk to me in December about the Dolphins.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill just made a great catch.
They need that home field advantage in order to really take advantage of the situation. And I don't know. They still got to win more games than the Buffalo Bills, who play in cold weather. So, if they don't, well, then it's an uphill battle.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Hey, guys, Teddy Bridgewater just connected on a 65-yard bomb. He's now the quarterback for the Dolphins because of Tua's health situation. And he just connected. They're inside. They're second and goal now, about to take the lead here on the Bengals.
Well, I will tell you this. I don't know what's going on in Arizona. I watched a little bit of that game. But the Rams are doing just enough to win games. And I think that train will stop in San Francisco. San Francisco's 5-1 against them in their last 6. And this is another team that's taken advantage of the bottom feeders, the Rams. Look at that schedule in December, boys. They get the Raiders, the Broncos, going into the Chargers. This is another team that, everybody might be talking about now. Come see me in December.
All right, hang on. I'm going to watch this play, guys. It's
San
a good game.
Francisco
It's
has
a good
an
game.
awfully deep rotation on that front four.
Yeah.
With Javon Kinlaw. I love that kid. He's
good.
From Washington via Trinidad.
Yeah.
Bridgewater just incomplete pass. It's going to be 4th down, so they're going to try to kick the field goal and take the lead.
I don't think the Bengals lose this game. They don't want to go down. They want to make sure they're up right here. So
they're looking at 1-3 if they don't win this game, and the Dolphins are not going away, so they got a dogfight. So, and the thing about the Bengals, besides playing the New York Jets last week, which we can say that they've struggled scoring points on offense, and this is another game against a good opponent, a decent defense. So we got to keep an eye on this. What's going on with their offense in Cincinnati? Is it all that?
Well, if you want to look at after 3 weeks surprises and disappointments, I don't know. Arizona's going to be a disappointment there.
Totally.
They really got to be a disappointment. You could probably throw the Redskins in this thing. Ron Rivera hasn't done nothing in Washington. I mean, playing small ball there. The Raiders have been a disappointment. The Chargers, if they lose Sunday, I mean, they lost to Houston last year in Houston. If they lose this one, you really got to look at their coach Staley if he's not lost the locker room.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, speaking of quarterbacks, here's a situation, and I want you guys to marinate this a little bit. These are some of the excuses that people are bringing up about Kenny Pickett and the Steelers quarterback rookie, who we'll find out if Pittsburgh really needs to make a change or not. We're going to be patient with the Trubisky situation, but the schedule gets tougher for the Steelers coming up, and they're saying that they don't want to put the young quarterback in the fire of these good teams. And I'm thinking, I'm going, the heck with that. Justin Herbert didn't care. Kyler Murray didn't care. Burrow didn't care. And these guys, Mahomes didn't care. Lamar didn't care. Like, why make excuses, right? We're hearing these excuses and they're holding back. Now, maybe it's strategically okay to let your young quarterback. No, Mahomes did not. I got to correct myself. He sat. I have to back up a little. He did sit down and watch a little bit before he played. And that turned out pretty good. But they're afraid to ruin their young quarterback and break him so fast? Or is that just another poor excuse because your schedule is tough? What's tough in the NFL in there now? Can you tell me it's a tough, like, who's that badass team? Like, there's no badasses out there.
Well, I think we all grew up with seeing John Elway carry a clipboard for Steve DeBerg, Peyton Manning. We saw, lose his first 9 road starts, kind of like Trevor Lawrence. We've seen these guys, unless you have nothing to lose, where they had to start like Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville and open it up. Pittsburgh, I'm not hitting the panic button. I think Mitch Trubisky's done good. The offense has been a little stagnant, but I would let Pickett, hold the clipboard if there's no injury, because here's what you do if you start playing this musical chairs with quarterbacks. You ruin the psyche of the guy that started. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to send a clear-cut message. I don't know if you guys agree on that, but I'm going to run this guy out till he gets injured, and then, Pickett can get a year under his belt and then be ready if they sputter next year. But I don't want to ruin the psyche for a few wins, because in the long haul, let's say Pickett comes in there and stumbles, then you're going to be asking for Trubisky because maybe Pickett wasn't ready. So you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Rudolph is still there. They'll be yelling for Rudolph.
Yeah.
But
that dude lost his girlfriend and his starting job.
And the full shape of his forehead from but the San Francisco did this last year. They drafted Lance and they stuck with Jimmy. And look, they put Lance out there and he stunk the joint up. They got a young quarterback in Atlanta. Desmond Ridder, right? He ain't playing. They've got the Oregon Duck out there. His long neck. He's got a Merton Hanks neck. His neck is 11 feet long. He's out there playing quarterback, kicking 30's door down. They've got him at 1-2 in Atlanta right now. And I mean, Okay, what's Ritter going to give it? Is Ritter 2-1? I don't think so.
No,
he's probably an 0-3 quarterback if he's.
You're right.
So,
You're right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but you know what? Yeah, but you know what? Marcus Mariota is doing good with Atlanta. I like him. Yeah, he's doing good.
But if you close your eyes and you think of take any 16 quarterbacks in the league to start, is Mariota cracking that 16? I don't think so.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
If we're talking XFL, then yeah, but NFL, he's kind of, you want him holding a clipboard. And
well, that's what they did. See, that's what they did with Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. They got to the Super Bowl. They had a good thing going. If they just drafted Kyle Pitts, they went for Trey Lance.
Right.
And they already had the quarterback. I didn't understand what they were doing. You could have had Pitts there with Kittle. You had something there. And they went after Lance. They bypassed Pitts. Let me tell you something. This Pitts is going to be one hell of a tight end, man, in the NFL.
Didn't Denver do this with Jake Plummer?
Yeah.
They were really good. And they decided to send him to Tampa, and he refused to play. He retired. And so they had to scramble and go get what was it, Jay Cutler? I can't even remember who they went to have to go get.
I think it was.
Hey, Jake at least got to a playoff game. He got the Broncos to it.
I love Jake. Smoking Jay. I love Smoking Jay.
Oh yeah. I take Jake Plummer any day of the week over Kyler Murray.
Hey, all right. Let's stay on this Miami Dolphins Cincinnati game a little bit. Right now, I'm watching the Bengals. They just use a trick play for their offense, which doesn't say that means they don't feel like their offense is not running well, so they got to do some trickery to change it up. Miami was a +4, which means they're the underdog, right? And usually, going on the road in a short week never goes well for teams like that, right? And just hear me out. If you're a gambling person, and I don't know, I know you took the over, right? But John, so you never really want to play too much on these road teams on Thursday night. So far, it's going well for Miami. The system normally, though, leans on Miami the +4 because that's a lot of points. And Miami's 3-0, and it's 3-0 a point, which is against the spread also. And on the road versus AFC North teams, 35-31 that win against the Baltimore Ravens itself. So it's they've been showing a lot of good signs. Like if you're a gambling person, that is. And so far, this game is playing out. They're winning 15-14. 15-14. So it holds a lot of weight when you look at the system, how things play out for the Dolphins right now, and how this game is playing out. It's a lot tighter. Some people really had the Bengals winning pretty good. I mean, 4 points, underdog. For the Dolphins, that's a pretty good size amount for a team that's 3-0. 3-0. All right, I'll stop right there. You guys' thoughts on a 4-point underdog Dolphins tonight?
Cincinnati's a loud stadium. I've been there for a Bengals game. It's a hard place to win. The wind comes in on the water side of the stadium. If you don't know Cincinnati, the stadium is shaped like a football, and it's open in the direction that the river is in, and the wind comes in over there. So a lot of the times when that gets into the offense's eyeballs, their offenses stutter for 2 quarters out of the 4 in the game, typically. And if, Cincinnati can take, care of the football and score points when they're going away from it, usually they've got a pretty good home field advantage. I'm not a great gambler, okay? I lose more than I win, and I bet very small amounts. But this is a game where you get 2 offensive teams, and you'd expect to see the sparks fly. They got to get Jamar Chase going. He's the best wide receiver in football, in my opinion, when he's hot. And, and I think they can still hit that number, that over for me. 53.5. Come on, guys.
Well, I think the stadium's kind of like Pittsburgh's Heinz Field, right on the river type, where that wind comes in and everything. But I would lay the 4 down too if I'm a riverboat gambler, because I think Cincinnati knows what's at stake here. They don't want to go to 1-3. So I'm in Burrow. I'm taking, regardless of Tua or Bridgewater combined, he's better than those guys. But Cincinnati's the defending AFC champs here. I mean, you don't want to just look down the barrel of a 1-3 start, especially the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you circle games and you lose a game to this kind of team that really hasn't done nothing for a few years and is caught a hot streak, this thing can kind of bite you in the ass like it did last year when the Chargers lost out by a game, and you circle that game they lost in Houston earlier on the year. That's the game that came back and bit them. There's always that one game where you don't put much stock in it, but it always comes back and bites you.
All right, guys, I'm going to shift gears back to baseball because I wanted Mark to get his 2 cents on this. They've got 20 more minutes to go on the show. Bengals are threatening right now, but all right, Mark, Aaron Judge hit 61 last night, right? They walked him a few times. The night before, they walked him 4 times. The Red Sox walked him. The Pirates were walking him, right? Like, it was like, why all of a sudden, all season long, nobody was walking him the way they are pitching around him. But now that he gets close to 60, like, they all want to pitch around him. Like, what? Like, are they afraid of, like, giving up that 60th home run, the 61st home run, and nobody wants to do it? So they're just, like, or is the manager afraid, like, I don't want to be on my record or something like that? Because it's just weird that all season long, you didn't pitch like this to this guy who was wrecking it. And now all of a sudden, like, it's weird. It's weird to me that they don't even want to pitch to him, and they pitch around him.
Is Roger Maris's family paying somebody off?
I don't know, but I tell you what, I'll keep it right there. I'm going to play Roger Maris Jr., what he said after the game, and he was targeting Barry Bonds about his 73. He doesn't accept that. He believes 61 is the record, and if Aaron Judge breaks 61, then Aaron Judge should be recognized as the all-time single season home run king. And this is Roger Maris Jr. after the game last night.
I think it means a lot, and that's not just for me. I think it means a lot for a lot of people, you know, that he's clean, he's a Yankee, he plays the game the right way, and, you know, I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who, you know, should be revered for hitting 62 home runs, and not just as a guy who did it in the American League. He should be revered for, you know, being the actual single season home run champ. I mean, that's really who he is if he hits 62, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something.
Your thoughts, guys? I talked about it early in the show. You know, I'll say one more time. If the Hall of Fame doesn't recognize it, and baseball seems like it just doesn't want to talk about it, but you have media people who ripped all over Barry Bonds for all those, you know, they were all over Barry, right? They ripped on him. But where's the media right now? Where is the media now that you know, they want to call it the American League one, home run king, but nobody wants to challenge this. You know, and if Aaron hits 62, he's got a few more games to do it. Right, he did 61 in 154 games, folks. Babe Ruth did 154 games and hit 60 home runs. Aaron did 61. That's pretty. We're doing roof stuff here again, right? But why is the media like? They're hypocritical. And you know, if you're a Yankee hater, which media people are, I've witnessed it. I know people who are, right? Or people in like that's. You got to face it. The Yankees' history has brought a lot of haters or lovers, right? And they're working in the industry itself. And this should be a lot bigger. And it should be a topic. And Major League Baseball is not absorbing it like Roger Maris Jr. said. He's like, you better open this up because people, I'm not me. I have a post from last night, guys, that I put out there. People are ripping on. And I saw some dude talking about Barry Bonds, and they just like destroyed this guy's comment about Barry. It was like so many people. A lot of people don't want to accept the Barry Bonds 73.
Here's the thing, Cornelius. You know, some people are myopic to the fact that they don't want to face the music. And
yeah,
you know, when you look at what Judge has said all along is, he basically says the record is Barry Bonds. He grew up in Sanford, so he remembers what Barry Bonds did. I for a fact, have had a chance to interview Bonds a few times, and maybe it helped to be a Pirate fan on this thing. But you know what? Barry Bonds to me is the home run king, bear none. I don't care what Henry Aaron did. I saw him 714. I've seen all these guys come and go, but to me, what Barry Bonds did, he's the home run king. I don't care who acknowledges it or what, but the home run record could be 61 here for Maris and Judge right now, and Judge is going to break that. But nobody's breaking this record. It's kind of like the Miami Dolphins of 14-0. How many people have tried to break that record? You're not going to see that record get broke. The Detroit Red Wings won 25 straight years getting in the playoffs. That record ain't going to be broken. 14 division titles by the Atlanta Braves. 33-game winning streak by the Lakers. These aren't meant to be broken, man. It doesn't matter what anybody says. These records will hold for a long time.
If Judge surpasses it, it gets to 62. Yes, the debate will continue. The asterisk will still always be there on Barry Bonds, and Barry will always be in this conversation, and it's going to be one of those baseball debates forever.
It's like Pete Rose.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. John, your thoughts as we're closing down the show here.
You know what? I'm not a hater of Barry Bonds. I think he is also the home run king. And I told you at the beginning, when you first brought me in here, the Major League Baseball wanted to do that chicks dig the long ball, and they were all behind all these home run hitters at the time. They wanted these bats and guys rounding these bags over and over and over again, and they couldn't give a rat's about the pitching 23 years ago to this day. So they were in on it. Right. The league was in on it. So don't try to turn up your nose and frown upon what you put out there as product. You created this, and then you turned your back on all the players that you begged to help bring fans back in the stadium because they were mad at you that you couldn't figure out your contractual agreements with your players. And they stopped coming to games, for all 81 home games, per season. So they needed a jolt, and they got one with the home run chase, and then they turned their backs on it in exchange for no runs. And now look, they're adding runners in extra innings. They're getting rid of everybody's got a DH now. Now you got right-handed first baseman out of the woodwork, and they're doing everything they can. Get, the 2 feet in the dirt, no more shift, blah 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 blah. Let's get these bats cooking, but you can't just turn your back on the players from the league that you've been, making all these millions and billions of dollars off of all these years, just because somebody new comes along and is swinging well.
All right, so all right, guys, great comments, and this is why I brought it up, because people get passionate about that topic, and unfortunately, baseball, that's going to lead a lot of their conversations. Like we used to be. Yeah, I mean this is not this is not a bright spot that we're talking and have to debate and talk because of the long ball, the PEDs,
Cornelius. It's funny you guys bring it up because. The guys that saved the sport from 94, the strike season, and like John was saying, that was the slogan, chicks dig the long ball. The guys like Sosa and McGuire and Bonds saved the sport, and they were thrown under the bus by Bud Selig. It's unbelievable.
Here's another one, guys. And Cornelius, you tell me what you think. I'm a Washington sports fan, right? So I pay a little bit more attention to the teams or the individuals coming out of that area than I do others.
Yeah.
Alex Ovechkin has 4 years left on his contract. He is 94 goals.
He'll break it.
He's 94 goals behind Wayne Gretzky, and I can't wait for people to come out of the woodwork and tell me how much better Wayne Gretzky was. Now, I grew up with Wayne Gretzky, okay? I watched him. I think he's the GOAT. But Alex Ovechkin has been on one team his whole career, and he will never play for another team. I can guarantee it, unless he decides to go play in Russia to close it out. He will never play for another NHL team, while Gretzky played for like 5 or 6.
Yes, he did.
He went to the highest bidder all the time. Alex Ovechkin is going to start this same argument that we're getting with this.
I agree with you. It's awesome.
Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning versus Johnny Unitas versus whoever the hell, Joe Montana, GOAT talk. It's going to happen again with the great 8, Ovi.
I remember when I first saw Ovechkin, rookie season, probably. I don't know, maybe. And I go, who the hell is this Oven Kitchen dude? I got to say, it's not Oven Kitchen. I was like, it looks like Oven Kitchen. Now, the rest of the story.
You know what the thing is? If being a Pittsburgh guy, I've always hated the Capitals.
Did the kid, baby.
Yeah, and here's
well,
where
Crosby and Ovechkin are like,
But here's where we can agree to disagree on this. Wayne Gretzky, to me, if you took the 4 major sports and you said, okay, Muhammad Ali changed boxing, Jackie Robinson changed baseball, but if Wayne Gretzky doesn't go to the Kings, there's no hockey in the West Coast. I mean, being a Pittsburgh boy and growing up on the West, the Kings would draw 5,000 fans, and the only time they'd have a sellout is if the Flyers came in with the Broad Street Bullies on a Saturday night. There would be no hockey in Vegas and everything. So I think from an ambassador standpoint. Now, don't get me wrong, but if you're giving me a choice between Lemieux and some of these guys, Lemieux was unbelievable, but I'm going with Crosby over Ovechkin because I think Crosby to me was like Magic Johnson. He'd make everybody around him better. Ovechkin had a good supporting cast. Ovechkin kind of reminds me of Jaromir Jagr in some ways. He's a scoring machine, but you got to be, look at this from a perspective too, John. They were denied a lot of Stanley Cups. They should have won more than just one in Washington. And Pittsburgh had a hand in knocking them out.
They've knocked them out quite a few times, as a matter of fact. The Caps will win the President. I think twice they've had the best record in the league and then got swept in the first round. It's an anomaly. You guys are great in the postseason. Washington, not so much. But they do play a different position. Your boy is a center. Ovechkin is a wing. So that's like saying, like you said, Magic Johnson versus Allen Iverson or something.
You're absolutely right.
Not only that, when they made the move in this new division, Washington made sure that Pittsburgh was coming alongside. It's probably the greatest rivalry in the last 5 to 10 years.
I agree, 100%. I tell you, one of the worst transactions ever was when Jagr came down to Washington. What in the high hell did we get out of that? And why? It was going to be the big red machine. We were going to win back-to-backs. Nothing. Donut.
That's what we should talk about one of these shows, Cornelius. The 3 top rivalries in hockey: Montreal, Boston, Washington, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Detroit.
And Jagr's still playing, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, guys. There's a lot of teams in the NFL that are fans that are just surprised and shocked, right? And this is something that myself and Mancini have always enjoyed watching. But what NFL team, as we're closing down the show here, we got like 5 or 6 minutes left. What team or what fan base wakes up on Sunday exactly like this dude who was just parachuting for the first time in his life? Keep an eye, watch. All right, so what NFL team or fan base wakes up on Monday like that after a rough start?
I tell you real quick, I fell asleep earlier. Like I fell asleep at about 12:40 waiting for the games. I wake up, it's midway through the first half. Washington's down 22-0 to Detroit. I said, what in the high hell is going on here? And that's exactly how I looked. I wake up, what's going on here? You know, I take a little cat nap and look what happens.
John, you are absolutely right. My NFC team has always been the Redskins. This is a far cry from George Allen running it. And, you know, you can go right down the list. The Riggins, the Theismans. This team is just I don't know.
Jay Schrader, you don't mention Jay Schrader, man. What the hell?
Yeah, but Ron Rivera.
We waved him off. Get out of here.
He needs to go. He doesn't. He is. I don't know what's going on with this team. They shouldn't be getting sacked 9 times by the Eagles, and they shouldn't be going into Detroit and losing a game and falling behind 22-0.
No. I tell you, here's another. I got into this one offline. Don't you think if Clinton Portis is in prison for 3 years, Brett Favre should go to prison too?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So who wakes up Monday morning as a fan base doing the Mancini dance, guys? All right, what fan base enjoys themselves
that's Arizona Cardinals.
No, that's got to be Jacksonville right now, feeling themselves, man. They are feeling themselves in Jacksonville.
Oh, it's too funny.
Hey, let's throw. You know what? Let's throw the surprises out there. Give me a lock and give me a surprise this week.
A lock? You want a lock? I got to think about this one. I got to think about this. There's a lot.
I'll throw a lock, and then I'll throw a surprise, and then you, John, and you can throw one. My lock is the Steelers are going to kill the Jets, and
I can't trust that.
Don't be surprised if the Jaguars go into Philly and beat them.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's a lock though, but yeah, I mean that's a possibility. You know,
yeah, my lock is the Steelers over the Jets. My don't be surprised is the Jaguars beating the Eagles.
All right, let me think about this one. Let me think about my lock. I'm leaning on Atlanta for some reason at home.
Yeah.
I think I like Atlanta. I like what they've been doing.
They're playing Cleveland, right?
I got the lock for you. Ready? Detroit beats up on Seattle. I don't think Seattle can score. They don't got no offense. Right. I like the Lions. I'll take the Lions. That's my lock of the week.
Yeah.
I'll take the Lions at home.
And what's your don't be surprised if?
Don't be surprised if don't be surprised. Like gosh. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with the Chargers.
Yeah, don't be surprised if the Texans beat them again.
Right? I mean, Houston's been battling, every game, and they're at home, and I don't know what's going on down there, but the Chargers are just not there yet. And if they're not there yet, this could be that one game where, like, oh, wow, like the sucky Texans 0-2-1 beat the Chargers on the road. And the Chargers don't travel well. Like, it's hard for them to travel long distances. That could be one of those games. I'll go Houston.
Sean, who do you got?
Lock of the week, -2.5 at home, Las Vegas Raiders. Mark Davis haircut, the whole 9 yards. So the first W for McDaniels. Everything goes down. And what stays in Vegas happens in Vegas. -2.5. Your Raiders. Lock it up. You can bet your grandchildren's college tuition on that. Now, here's my surprise of the week. 39. The New York Football Giants abysmally lose Shepard. Galladay's in the doghouse.
Wow.
Daniel Jones, he's terrible. Saquon Barkley, he's back. Doesn't matter. The worst offense in football, the Chicago Bears, come to New York and they form like Voltron and score more than 39 points.
Oh, man, look at that.
Wow, there's
the over between the Bears And the Giants.
There's a rumor Saquon Barkley could go to Buffalo.
Guys, music's up. We're at the 8 o'clock hour. Buffalo, here we go. Hey, 20-15, Bengals are leading the Dolphins. About 6 minutes to go in the game. Dolphins are now making a big threat. So, hey, guys, John Turner from a Football World. Thank you for popping in, man. Appreciate it. The Madman, Mancini, the Hanna Mancini. Yeah, buddy. We're going to enjoy a lot of football this weekend. I know that. And, wake me up when September ends. Well, guess what? That's what I've been saying. And we're going to find out who's for real and who's been blah, blah for the first 4 weeks. And if you're not in it going into October, trick or treat, baby. I think it's going to be a trick.
John and Cornelius acknowledge Pittsburgh.
You got it, boys. Have a good one.
I love you.
Hanna Time. Good night, everybody. Enjoy it, guys. We appreciate it. Hey, John. See ya, man. Don't forget, guys, you want to get that T-shirt real quick. I want to show it to you one more time before we send off. This T-shirt right here. It's on sale right now. You can go right there on the post of the show. Look at the link. It says "Love Always Wins." It's just like that T-shirt, just like that. Buy it. And also, you can go to the globalsportsbroadcastingnetwork.com and go to the merchandise section, and you can purchase this shirt also. All right. Love always wins. Like I always say to you, keep your heart open, and good things will happen too. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Hanna Time.